On this edition of Somerville Neighborhood News, getting the Green Line extension back on track. The Union Square Post Office is set to deliver the arts. East Somerville businesses get a welcome boost. And the best holiday movies you've probably never seen. All that and more tonight on Somerville Neighborhood News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Somerville Neighborhood News. Today is December 15th, 2015, and I'm Melanie Morris. The MBTA has been getting a lot of attention, and much of it has to do with the over-budget Green Line extension project. The MBTA Fiscal and Management Control Board and the Department of Transportation Board met last week to hear its status reports and consider the options going forward. Our news director, Heather Avison, was there.
It was standing room only as Department of Transportation Secretary Stephanie Pollock outlined the three options for the GLX being considered.
So the first option is to build the project as currently designed and delivered and use Commonwealth funds to fund any available cost overruns. The second option that we said would be on the table and would remain on the table until such time as we had a path forward would be to cancel the project. The third option would be to substantially reduce the costs and fiscal impact of the Green Line extension through a combination of redesign, re-procurement or modification of the existing procurement, and seeking additional funding from non-Commonwealth sources.
After listening to public comment and hearing impact reports, the board voted to take only one option off the table, proceeding under current conditions. With canceling the project still in the mix, board members sought to reassure the public.
And we're not against GLX at all. We just have an obligation to make sure that if we do approve it, that it's approved in the right way, and that we're not facing another $380 million that isn't producing what you put the task on us to do, which is to produce a project that is of value to you. So we take that seriously. Nobody up here doesn't, including me. And we're going to continue on to make sure that this thing's done and is done correctly.
So I would say, in terms of this specific project, from where I sit, it needs a significant dose of tough love. And by that I mean affection for the project, but discipline. I'm hopeful that we can straighten out the GLX piece in a way that will be positive for our Commonwealth, and I'm hopeful that that will be incorporated into our overall transportation agenda.
The board did vote to transfer financial control from the MBTA to the Fiscal Control Board for the next 90 days.
So the concern has been expressed while we're trying to sort all this out. Shouldn't there be a kind of pause so that unless they come back to the control board, no decisions can be made, no more money can be spent, no more contracts can be let. So the purpose of the motion that was just seconded is to basically take that power back from the MBTA, leave it in the hands of the control board for a 90-day period during which you guys would then have the breathing space to sort out a lot of very difficult issues that you heard about today.
A revised bidding process, as well as possible design and service cutbacks, are being looked at. One key to moving the project forward seems to be increased financial support from stakeholders.
There's currently, under state law, no specific legal mechanism for collecting money from private owners who benefit from infrastructure projects and using that money for the project. So the only mechanism we really have at this point would be voluntary contributions that would be made in a form that was enough of a legal commitment that we could actually count on it and that we could put it in our finance plan. We have serious offers from both the city manager of the city of Cambridge and Mayor Somerville to work with us, with those communities, and with developers.
Secretary Pollock and her team, the governor's team, have been very transparent, engaging with us. They're looking for ideas. They're trying to be creative. So for some people, there's a lot of stuff out there to consider. Well, we want them to consider a lot of things. We want to build the best Green Line project, extension project, while being fiscally responsible. And I feel really confident that this will serve as a model of how we approach and tackle complex problems. And it's so important as we think about the other transportation investments we need for the Commonwealth. So again, a lot of it, this has been a collaborative process. I expect it to be so as we move forward.
After the public meeting, members went into executive session to continue discussions. The next day, 4 current contractors were out. Project Manager, HDR Gilbane. Builder, White Skanska Kiewit. Estimator, Stanton Constructability. And Designer, AECOM, HNTB, will no longer be involved. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Heather Avison.
Many of the current GLX construction projects are wrapping up ahead of the winter season, giving the boards a little breathing room as they consider all the options. The iconic Union Square Post Office was sold to Union Square Partners in the fall of 2014. The group recently presented their initial redevelopment plans to the public and received broad support. Our reporter Ellie Romano gives the update.
Redevelopment plans are taking shape for the former Union Square Post Office. The owners of the building, Union Square Partners, and the Baker Design Group, the design team in charge of recreating the old space, presented the plans to the public at the Argancio School on December 1st.
As Stephen said earlier, we have a number of different options.
The main structure of the building will remain as is, in keeping with the building's historical place designation. Interior renovations are designed to fit with the uses outlined in SummerVision.
I was extremely impressed. If everybody were as inclusive and as gradual and progressive as these guys, it would be a very easy process.
The group plans on making the building dynamic and multi-purpose. The first floor changes include creating a marketplace with space for eateries that highlight the Moffat mural in the lobby. The attic, which is now only roof beams, is being envisioned as a shared office space. The roof has the potential of becoming a roof deck or garden. The idea that gained the most attention from the crowd was the proposal for the basement, a performance venue with the capacity to fit 100 patrons.
They're really clever in thinking about this because one of the things that they want to achieve is constant activity. And so what they're thinking of is uses that support and stimulate each other.
The idea is to stay focused on the community's needs and the character of Union Square.
In terms of the benefits that it provides the community, in terms of the low impacts that it has on the community. I mean, when you compare it to, say, more condos or Walgreens, this is like three cuts above not only what could have happened there, but frankly what the current Union Square developers are proposing for Union Square.
Stephen Baker of the Baker Design Group was pleased to see the public's positive response.
It was great to see that they are embracing our ideas the same way we've embraced the need to actually create a cultural hub to support the community. We're glad that they are liking the avenue that we're trying to take.
He also plans on keeping the community informed as the final design evolves.
I'm extremely excited to sort of get the plans further refined, be able to come and show them further views and design details of what this community center and hub and kind of activity sort of for social mixing will be.
Design updates and permitting mean Union Square Partners are looking to late 2016 before construction begins. For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Ellie Romano.
Small businesses are at the heart of Somerville neighborhoods. The city has been piloting a program to help owners make their businesses more attractive and more profitable. After successes in Union and Magoon Squares and Winter Hill, the focus has now shifted to East Somerville. Reporter Kelly Thomas brings us this story.
In August 2013, Somerville Mayor Joseph Curtatoni said, "We are reclaiming East Broadway for our community, and we are reclaiming it for all residents. All of our policy decisions are made with an eye on promoting accessibility for active living." The city is following through on that commitment. The Office of Economic Development recently organized an open office hours event at the East Somerville Community School to provide prospective business owners with support and expertise from city department. Ben Sommer is the Economic Development Assistant for the City of Somerville.
We came up with the idea to have everyone in one room where people could come and talk to all the people they would need to talk to in one place. It would make it a lot easier.
Somerviva employees were on hand to help potential business owners who needed language support. Adriana Fernandez of Somerviva worked with Celia Bauman and Ilana Nunes, Somerville residents who were opening a Brazilian restaurant on Medford Street.
E realizar sonho que já é de muito tempo que nós duas aqui temos esse sonho.
Okay, she said that first of all, we have a huge Brazilian community here in Somerville. They already live here, and they are so glad that now they can live and work in Somerville and welcome not just the Brazilians, but the whole community, the diverse community we have here in Somerville. And this is a dream they've been working on and dreaming about it for a while, and now they said it's time for the dream to come true.
The Open Office Hours event targeted those looking to open up a business. The city's Small Business Technical Assistant Program is designed to support those already open for business.
There's a wide range of businesses that are currently engaged in the Small Business Technical Assistance Program. We have restaurants, we have a computer repairs store that's been in business for 25 years. We have a nonprofit that provides art education for kids. In the past, we've had hair salons, grocery stores. There's really there's no one business that this, no one type of business that this program targets. It's really for everybody.
Any Somerville business can apply for the program. Once a business is selected, the city pays for a meeting between the owner and the consulting company Retail Visioning. Owners also receive a 1,000 grant to help implement some of the suggested changes that come out of that consultation.
Different businesses have different needs, but really, I mean, the underlying needs are often the same, which is time management usually, marketing to website design to menu design to customer service.
This round of the program will focus on East Somerville for the first time. The city piloted the program last fall in Union Square, Winter Hill, and Magon Square. Joe D'Souza, the owner of Modelo's Market and Cafe, took advantage of the initiative.
The city came over. I was talking to one of those, his name is Max. He was walk around the business and, propose some help from the city that could be, a lot of stuff that could be done. And he left me a flyer with the information. And after I read that, I say that sounds interesting. Let's call them, see what's the plan, what can be done. And so back then, they offered me a lot of good things. They offered me, help me to improve the front of the business, do some change the signage or whatever. It's a lot of stuff that could be done.
Joe D'Souza then worked with Retail Visioning to come up with some local strategies to improve business.
I decided just take the consulting. I say let's start from the consultant and see what can be done. So that's where they come over. We have a few meetings and they look at the place and we design some layout of the the bakery and everything. And changing some signs on the outside and clean the windows, which was a lot of stuff on the windows. So then we clean. The city paid for the website, which has been working very well. Before it was a huge outside sign that said the Brazilian market, so we removed that. That's everyone's market, it's not just Brazilian market.
The changes have had a significant impact. Business is up, and new customers are founding the Market Cafe.
We have an improvement in the business about, I'll say, 10 to 15% so far. We changed the menu a little bit. We offer some other stuff. We offer breakfast, American breakfast. We do have a lot of, some different coffee, so the people like it. Right now, we have a lot of American customers,
Teresa Vasquez Dodaro is the executive director of East Somerville Main Streets, a nonprofit organization dedicated to rebuilding the East Broadway Business District as the heart of the East Somerville community. Vasquez Dodaro is working with the city to implement the program in our neighborhood.
East Somerville should be a priority because East Somerville is one of the most diverse areas in Somerville. And the fact that all of the businesses on East Broadway have so much character, have so much cultural legacy, makes this area really, really a cultural, just an area of so much cultural wealth.
Vasquez Dodaro believes retaining the diverse flavor of East Somerville is crucial to this area's success, and the programs understands that.
The part that makes this program very unique is that it doesn't attempt to recreate the business according to some marketing cookie cutter, sort of like equalizing all of the businesses to a certain standard of beauty. So it doesn't try to make all businesses look like they're part of a chain and that they all are decorated equally. It's the opposite. It tries to observe what makes this place unique and this owner unique. Sometimes small businesses that are owned by not necessarily by enormous corporations might need a little bit of a hand in order to really succeed and solidify their business practices.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Callie Thomas.
In order to further promote the eateries, services, and shops in the area, East Somerville Main Streets is currently putting together a local business directory for residents and visitors. If you'd like more information on the Small Business Technical Assistance Program, contact Ben Summer at bsummer@somervillema.gov or 617-625-6600, extension 2513. Now, let's head over to this week's Somerville Journal.
Hello, this week in the Somerville Journal we'll have the latest on the woes of the Green Line extension, we'll have coverage of the public forum on income inequality, and we'll take a look at the push for more affordable housing in Somerville. You can always find us online on Twitter at VilleJournal and somerville.wickedlocal.com, and you can get in touch with me at 617-629-3385 or datkinson@wickedlocal.com.
Escaping into a book is the perfect antidote to winter in New England. Books make darn good gifts as well, so we stopped by Porter Square Books to find out what the staff is reading and recommending this season.
I have The Little Town Where Time Stood Still, which is 2 short novels by the Czech writer Bohumil Hrabal, and a little bit of Don Quixote, a lot of beer, some haircuts, and a lot of fun, but also some melancholy that is the particular realm of Eastern European writers. Another brilliant book for someone who's looking to read a work in translation. Next, I have Lucky Peach, 101 Easy Asian Recipes. Lucky Peach is one of the coolest, most interesting food magazines out there, and I am very excited they have finally collected a number of the recipes that have appeared in their issues. I actually made a stir fry from this last night. It was excellent. So a great pick for every foodie in your life. So this is Map. That's put out by Faden Press. And there are tons of beautiful cartography books out there. I am personally a huge fan of just sitting and looking at maps. But this one is a little different because rather than just showing maps, it juxtaposes them to create conversation. So they'll show a map of the same, 2 maps of the same region, but put together by, say, a colonialist and a native, or 100 years apart, or 2 maps by 2 different cultures looking at similar themes. It is great for history buffs. It is great for people who really like coffee table books like I do, and it's a really fascinating, interesting take on how we look at history.
My first pick of the holiday season is This Monstrous Thing. It's a young adult retelling of Frankenstein, and it's by Mackenzie Lee. Mackenzie Lee is actually a bookseller who works at the store. So basically, steampunk, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. If you like retellings of classic tales, this is a really interesting twist. I'm a big fan of retellings, so here's another one. This is one of my top fantasy picks for the season. This is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. It's sort of loosely a Beauty and the Beast retelling that sort of turns into a Baba Yaga story. It's set in sort of a medieval alternate version of Poland. And it is basically, if you as a kid loved stories like Beauty by Robin McKinley, this is the book for you as a grown-up.
And then we've got Peaceful Neighbor. This is a biography of Mr. Rogers, looking at his activism and his countercultural role. He was very much in favor of peace, loving your neighbor. He was a Presbyterian minister. If you're looking for a book to make you feel good about the world, this is one to turn to. He is just as amazing as all the stories that you hear. On the practical side, we've got How to Get Dressed. This is a Hollywood costume designer applying her costume making skills to real-world fashion, not just how to put together clothes that work, but also how to use double-stick tape, how to mend your own clothes, how to do alterations, and make it so that the clothes actually fit you. Lots of useful stuff, very practical, not meant for couture at all. This is real people fashion.
Of course, there's probably something for everyone, and there are a few there that I'd like myself. So, Santa, if you're listening, you can find me in upstate New York on December 25th. Now, maybe your interests lean more towards movies than books. Dan Burke hosts Words on Film, a weekly film review show on Boston Free Radio, which is a member of the Scat TV family. We asked Dan to share some of his favorite holiday movies that you've probably never seen.
One film that gets particularly overlooked during the holiday season, unlike A Charlie Brown Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, and all the rest of the holiday classics, is a relatively new one called Joyeux Noël. It actually is pretty recent. It came out in 2005 and was nominated in 2006 for an Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. It's the true story of the front lines of World War I on Christmas Eve in 1914. The German, French, and Scottish armies are fighting each other. But on Christmas Eve, what starts off as a ceasefire develops into something gradually a little bit more poignant. All the members of the front line come together to congregate, at first for a church service, and then for a soccer game, and later a memorial for the recently departed, and so on. It's a very special film, and it's one that's hopefully gaining a lot more attention over the last 10 years. I know I loved it immensely, and it's one of those films that I try to watch every Christmas.
It was a clear, bright day, but there was no warmth in the sun. Danny shivered with an inner cold. He turned up the collar of his worn, breezy black overcoat.
You're probably familiar with the wall-to-wall cuteness that consists of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and other such Rankin-Bass holiday specials. Well, this special, even though it's stop-motion animation for the most part, very much like Rankin-Bass, is nothing like Rudolph. Absolutely nothing. In fact, it's not even for kids. The movie is A Junkie's Christmas. It's a 27-minute short based on a short story by William S. Burroughs, who actually makes a cameo as himself at the beginning and the end of the short. It's about a guy who's trying to find a fix, a drug addict who's trying to find his next shot of basically whatever will make him high. So, as I said, it's not kid-friendly, but the end is surprisingly uplifting. And if you give this movie a chance, and if you're an appropriate age, you will actually like it, and you may find yourself actually wanting to see this movie more than Santa Claus is Coming to Town or any of those other kid-friendly Rankin-Bass specials.
Oh, hi, Emmett. I'm fishing. What are you doing?
A lot of people associate the Muppets with Christmas. Not necessarily, but there are a lot of Muppet-related Christmas specials. One of my favorites is A Muppet Family Christmas. But without Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and all the rest, my other favorite Muppet Christmas special is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which is based on a book of the same name that was written in the early 70s. People who have seen it have really enjoyed it. It has great puppetry. It has sort of a mixture of hand puppets, marionettes, and even remote control puppets that were way ahead of its time for the late 70s, certainly, and probably puppetry we take a little bit more for granted today in children's entertainment, especially in the CGI age. But Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is one of those movies that doesn't have any references to Santa or really any real, I guess you could call it, Christmas songs. But it does have a great soundtrack of original songs written by Paul Williams that really make this special a favorite for me. And it's also an anthropomorphic retelling of O. Henry's immortal Gift of the Magi. And the way it ends will really give you a warm feeling inside. And I love Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, and even when it's not Christmas, I like to watch this film even then. There aren't a lot of movies out there with predominantly Native American casts, let alone Christmas movies with such a roster of talent. But Christmas in the Clouds is one of those movies. It came out in 2001 and premiered at the Toronto Film Festival and Sundance and did pretty well there. This has, as far as Native American casts go, an all-star cast. It has Graham Greene in it and even a cameo by Wes Studi. This movie is not your typical Christmas movie, and not just because of the Native American cast. It takes place at a hotel resort in the Pacific Northwest. There's no mention of Santa Claus. There's not even very much snow, or even any real Christmas songs playing. And I don't even think there are really any Christmas miracles of any sorts going on. But it's a really good glimpse into how other people who don't live in the Northeast region of the United States celebrate Christmas.
I give it 5 stars.
So whether it's one of the movies I recommended or one of your favorite holiday classics, be it It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Story, or whatever, I hope you have a very happy holiday season.
You can catch Words on Film with Dan at bostonfreeradio.com every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. That's our newscast for tonight, folks. We'll be back on December 29th at 7 p.m. on Channel 3. Check out all of our news stories at somervilleneighborhoodnews.org. Somerville Neighborhood News is a community service production of SCAT TV. We invite you to get involved. Visit our Facebook page, SCAT TV SNN, to comment, or tweet us at SCAT TV SNN. Call us at 617-628-8826 or email us at news@scatvsomerville.org. I'm Melanie Morris. Thanks for joining us tonight. Of course, you can join me on Bay State Biking News on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. right here on SCAT TV. We'll see you around the neighborhood, and happy holidays.